I know in our, own family, right, we have conflicts that come up. And stuff happens and things get emotional, and we're working with young adults here that I'm sure things can get emotional. I'm sure conflicts come up, right, with exchange students. Are there any stories or anything that you can share with us, like things that can go wrong, things that have gone wrong? Like, how do you guys step in, help out? Um, and yeah, things can happen in life. So,
Sure.
how do things happen with exchange students? Does it happen like that? And how do you fix issues that come up?
Well, luckily, usually the issues that come up are minor. Um, and a lot of it is about communication and expectations and stuff. And so, part of the job of the coordinator is to mediate that kind of stuff. So, um, I would say something that's pretty common is even though we try to tell host parents not to do this, not to treat the student like a guest in their home and, wait on them and do all that. Sometimes it just happens that way. They're not comfortable, like, you know, asking them to help with dishes or help with preparing meals or whatever. So they start in a pattern where they're treating the student as a special guest, but then they start to get resentful that they're doing all this extra work and the student isn't pitching in. Um, so that's just kind of miscommunication where I'll come in and kind of mediate. Hey, you need to do your share like a family member and help with the dishes and offer to help with cooking the meal and make sure you're cleaning up after yourself and those kind of things. And usually that's pretty easy to fix before
Yeah.
it gets out of hand, as long as the host parents talk about it before they really get resentful about it. um, so that's one. um, Sometimes there can be issues with um, host siblings.
Mm.
So, like, sometimes families will have an expectation if they have a teenage, typically it's teenage daughter, and they're hosting a teenage girl, and they think they're going to be best friends and they're going to
Mm.
do everything together. And sometimes that happens and that works out great. Sometimes they just aren't a good fit. They don't have the same interests. Maybe they get along at first, and then the exchange student makes other friends that she gets along with better. And so that can create a little conflict that you
Sure.
have to work through. And just, but so that's a big part at the beginning for host families, that I have to talk about with them, just to be careful of their expectations, because the student might be a little different than they are on paper. And they may, even though they say they have all these interests, they might get here and want to try something different. So if
Yeah.
you think they're going to play basketball with your son and be best buddies, the student might get here and want to try a different sport. And, so you have to be able to be flexible about that, about the expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, occasionally there are bigger issues. Like, I had a student one year in Texas who, he kind of got in with the wrong crowd, and his friends were skipping out of some classes in the middle of the day. And it was a big school, so they weren't reporting that to the host parents until I did my monthly check-in, and the counselor's like, well, he missed a lot of classes. He's got like
Mm.
10 absences from these couple classes. And it's like, and the host mom had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, it's, you write up a contract and you sit down with them and they have to sign, hey, I'm going to attend every class. If I don't, I'm going to get sent home early. We call it
Yeah.
get their uh, contract reviewed, I think we call it. But yeah,
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
But
They're
that
still kids,
student, he
right?
shaped up right away. As soon as
Yeah.
he heard, you can't do this or you'll get sent home, then he attended
Yeah.
every class.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. They're still teenagers, after all,
Right,
you know,
exactly.
it's like stuff's going to
Exactly.
happen. So